This is Jody Lester, or JL, and you are on Elevated Living at elevateme.org, and this is the Daily Lift. We are going to discuss on the last day of February 2011 women submitting and men honoring. Now, there is a book that tells us how to live according to a Judeo-Christian religion and practice. And in that book, it discusses how when people are committed to one another in a Unitarian relationship, that women are to be submissive to their husbands and they're to revere them, and that men are to honor and cleave to their wives. Those are very important terms. It's also excruciatingly important to know that if you're going to follow these practices, you need to know the terms of the agreement. Very early on in the month of February, we discussed definitions and how vital they were to negotiating the terms of your relationship. When we come to a point in the road where we have decided that we are going to be committed to an individual and we have vows and promises that bind us to one another, we need to do everything possible to know how to maintain that unity, that tie. A lot of people have trouble with the word submit, and it does really speak to a humility, a humbling of oneself, an ability to defer and admit that someone else may be an authority or have the decision-making power. But submit has multiple definitions. When you think about submitting, sometimes it's not just a deference, and there's nothing wrong with humility and deference, but often submission means to give. And I think that is the definition or the point of the word that has lost its meaning, and we've kind of lost our point of reference for that meaning. It means that women should give. Sometimes that is giving the power and the decision making over to our mate. When that decision is going to bring harm or is not in the best interest of the whole, then we should submit correction, direction, and opinion. And when we are giving, and sometimes when we're giving our humility and giving our deference to one's decision-making power, we need to be respectful. Reverence is beyond respect. When we revere our mate, it is almost divine. We have an understanding that it isn't just the person that we've decided to love, but the divine in the individual that we are actually submitting and paying reverence to. In this book, it talks about how we are to put our faith in no man, including our mate. That faith belongs to a divine and higher power. And if that is the guide for the relationship, then that is who you are submitting to. We don't make any room to lower our values, our beliefs, or to do things that are incorrect or wrong because we have taken a word out of context. We do pay reverence and allow people to stay in their lane and be in their roles. Now, men are to honor their mates. Honor is to hold someone in high respect, high regard, and high esteem. There is a very direct obligation that is given that we are to honor our mother and our fathers. And when you think about how much respect and often humility that goes along with doing that, and one is to honor their mates in the same way, that's not so far off from having a bit of reverence and submission on the other side. Of course, one is maintaining the fact that they have and hold a decision-making role, and in that, they are to honor the person who is helping them make the best decisions. Along with honoring, men are to cleave. Now, cleave has two definitions, which I find very interesting. One definition is to cling to hold on to be faithful to, and the other is to sever, to cut off. But when we think about the book on Judeo-Christianity, it talks about how a man is to separate from his family, from his friends, but not necessarily to throw away, but to cleave unto the person he has committed to put them first. In their giving and in their reverence, you honor and put first your mate. Now, if we all did that, it would make committing and the word marriage a lot sweeter. Just some intellectualizing and a little background and definition from some words that we find often much scarier than they actually are. A little food for thought, and hopefully a thing to make you go, as we end our month of love and relationships. You have been on Elevated Living at elevateme.org. And until we next connect, I wish you grand and proper submissions, reverence, honor, and something very precious to hold on to while living the very best of life. Ciao.